Welcome back. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Jen and Jess podcast. Oh, wait.
We're called the Black Sheep
That's right.
Podcast.
Gosh, that was weird. That just like...
That just flowed through
Is
you.
that a sign?
I don't know.
Weird.
Maybe that's what it should be. The
okay.
Jen and Jess Podcast.
Well, I think I was trying to sound a little bit more professional here this evening.
No wrestling introduction this time.
No. I mean, it was good, but I feel like...
I could do better.
Yeah, you could do better. I feel like because I'm in a nicer outfit today that I should be a little bit more...
Light.
I'm, just more hosty, more talk show hosty. I feel like my role today is going to be to host you. Yes. We've got a lovely, lovely topic of conversation today.
Very different than our last episode. Very different. Well, it's all encompassing because it's about raising your vibration and having hard conversations is part of that. This topic came up because of recent conversations I've had with clients around how do I tap into energy and how do I raise my energy level? How do I understand that? And so this conversation around how to raise your vibration, because everything is energy, vibration is energy. How do I elevate myself in that way? So I like to think of it as in this world that we're living in as like a video game. And each level of the video game is a level of personal challenges that you're going to face or karmas that you're going to face that you have to learn from and grow from and heal from in order to elevate to the next level, like of the game. And there's many people who continue to go back to the beginning of that level and repeat it over and over and over again because they're not learning the lessons. And they continue to have these repeated cycles of why do I keep pulling? Why do I have this problem again? Why do I keep getting myself into these certain relationships? Why do I keep having these jobs? Why do I keep getting the boss that's a jerk? Why do I keep having these experiences that I can't break free from? And it's because you haven't learned the karma, and the karma is to be able to see both sides of the perspective, to be able to have the wisdom of understanding both sides. And in order to raise our vibration and go on to the next level, we have to heal that karma. And we all have karma. That's why we're here as humans. We all walk into this world as this soul that carries karma from other lives. And we carry karma that's also passed down through our family. That's very much intergenerational. And so often the black sheeps of the family are the ones that are the breakers of the karma. We are here to clear the karma. We're here to break free from this 3D matrix that we've been living in order to move into an ascension of our consciousness and to evolve and to awaken a new way of being, a new way of living. And in order to do that, we have to raise our vibration, which means we have to become conscious of ourselves and how we're living right now in order to make those shifts in our world, in order to elevate ourselves. So energy is everything.
What's the quote?
Of that?
No, the quote that we were talking about the other day. When you want to, if you want to understand the universe, you have to think of everything as energy, frequency, vibration. I think Nikola Tesla said that, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, look that up. Yeah. Yeah, because your thoughts are energy. Your emotions are energy. Your action is energy. Every time you have a thought, your neurons fire together and they wire. Okay, so if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's by Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And when you start breaking down things more, like there was this scientist that went into churches, remember, and she was putting those she would put sand on a flat surface, and then she would have speakers, and she would pick up the resonance frequency of the building. And as soon as she turned the machine on, it would form incredible geometrical shapes.
Yeah.
And then as she changed the hertz, remember that? Or maybe the frequency. But anyways, she would change something and the shapes would change.
Right.
Instantly.
Right.
Into perfect, 100% perfect geometrical shapes and just switch on a dime.
That was the same research by Dr. Emoto, a Japanese researcher, and he studied the frequency as it charges water. So he would test water molecules, and he would use different words. He would even use people's names like Hitler, love, hate. And he could show that the water molecule would change based off the frequency that was being projected onto it. And anything that was of higher frequency, of good vibration, vibration, the water molecules always turn into these like very beautiful snowflake-like structures, very geometrical shape patterns. And anything that was of low resonance became very deformed and didn't have the geometrical shape to it.
Interesting.
And when we were homeschooling our daughter years ago, we did the rice experiment, which was based off of Dr. Emoto's research, where if you put cooked rice into 2 separate jars, and you said to the love rice, and you labeled one love, one hate, and you spoke loving things to the love rice, it would prolong its shelf life. And then when you spoke hateful words to the hate rice, it went to mold really fast. And we are no different. We are no different. We have almost 80% water. We're made of 78 or something like that % water. And so the words that we use, the thoughts that we think, the actions and how we live is representative in how our body responds to that. So our body becomes diseased when we are thinking hateful things about ourselves, when we're putting ourselves down, when we're being hurtful to ourselves, versus when we are thinking good thoughts, just like in like the Yoga Sutras, the Eightfold Path, which we talked about last episode, is, to have right speech, right thought. Right? Because our thoughts are energy that we're projecting out into the universe. And whatever we're thinking, we're attracting.
Right.
And I know this in my own life all the time, because in my self-reflection, I'm recognizing that when I'm caught in rumination and I'm thinking about something that I'm pissed off about, and I'm thinking and I'm actually rehearsing things that I want to say. And then when I'm in that situation, I will say the things that I've been rehearsing, even though they don't come from love. They come from frustration and anger. And then I'm actually projecting my own hurt out there. Right. So if we're not aware of ourselves and what we're thinking about, we're caught in the cycle of living unconscious. And 50% of the average person's day is unconscious. They're living up in their head. They're living into, what am I doing next? What am I doing next? What am I doing next? I'm thinking about the future. Or I'm ruminating on something from the past. I'm not here in this present moment.
Yeah.
And a big chunk of my yoga teaching days was just to get people present. It was just to awaken them into this now moment, because I could see in class, everybody's just focusing on, am I doing this right? Is this happening? What, right? Like you can see when they're in their head that they're not focused on their body. They're not in tune with here. Where are you now? What are you experiencing right now? Instead of, I can tell you're thinking about what you're going to do after class, or you're thinking about something stressful from work, or whatever it is.
Right.
But you're not present. So this conversation around raising our vibration requires conscious living, conscious thought. And when I first started practicing mindfulness, which is becoming aware of the moment to moment that you're living in, I remember having this thought of, oh my gosh, I got to do this all day long. I got to be conscious all day long. I got to be aware. I can't just turn off. This is tiresome. This requires so much effort. But the more that I practice that, the more that I live that, it becomes just part of who I am. Instead of something I'm having to always like go back and sit and practice. It becomes part of my lifestyle.
That's probably why I listen to so many audiobooks and podcasts all day long.
Because you're always learning. You're
but
absorbing.
then I don't have to always be aware. Right? If
You're tuning
just
out.
like listening to stuff all day, and like then I mean it's interesting because you can sit back and relate all the things too, though, which is being conscious and being aware.
Yeah.
So there is a degree of that that's going on, but I do think that there's probably some truth in that.
Well, it makes you have to be aware of your thoughts, and a lot of people don't want to have to be with their mind because it's chaotic, especially because we're raised in a society where we're just infiltrated with information constantly that we're not taught, like other cultures, to sit in meditation, to sit in self-contemplation, to just recognize, what am I thinking about in this moment?
Yeah, not at all.
So and this is what I see often in my practice, is that especially for first responders that have been, are constantly in a state of fight or flight and always in this activated nervous system state of having to go do the next thing or then numb it, avoid it, put it away, that your brain eventually, like your mind, is so inundated with thoughts that you have to watch TV to fall asleep. Or you have to drink or do something that just takes you completely out of your own mind. Intense exercise. Food. TV, anything that keeps you out of what am I thinking about, because you're avoiding your own thoughts.
Right.
It is effort. It is, and that's why this is like the human journey, is that like my work is always ongoing. And I'm always sitting with my own mind and watching what thoughts are coming to the surface and what's cycling in my energy field by what am I thinking about. So what am I attracting to me?
Yeah.
And so once we start to learn about becoming conscious of our own mind, we learn that we are not our mind. Right? Once you become aware of the voice in your head, you recognize that I'm not that voice. I am actually the one in control of that voice, though. So we can separate, we learn then consciousness, our ego. And we learn how to become just our spirit. Because the ego is very much lives in duality. We are separate. I am me, you are you, but we're not connected. But when we become conscious and in our spirit state, we understand that we are inherently always connected. There is oneness. And what I do in my life has a ripple effect. My vibration has a ripple effect. And it can change you.
Right.
So like when Jess, you are a really strong manifester. So like when you're thinking about somebody and then all of a sudden somebody calls you or you get a message from somebody, you hear about them, it's because you're sending out the frequency. You're sending out your energy to that person. So that's how that's just an example of how we're connected. We pull each other towards us, just like how we pull negative experiences to us. If we're on that first or those lower levels of our video game, we keep pulling in that same frequency. We keep pulling in that same type of person, that same type of job, that same challenge, because we haven't learned, number one, that, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. This is my challenge. And two, how can I move past this? What do I need to heal in order to understand better? Right? Karma is being able to see and understand both sides of that challenge.
It's interesting because I find myself a lot working on having to be present.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me.
Yeah.
I work on it a lot.
Well, we're always working on it. Like it's every day. Like it's so much work being present, especially because if you haven't lived being present, to all of a sudden become present in your everyday moment to moment.
Like when, okay, so this is always a funny thing is like Jen will say, okay, time to take a break. Like, don't forget to take a break, or it's time to take a break. So I'll be like, okay, good. I can take a break from physical, like what I'm doing, and then plan, like, say, just like an example is like, okay, I'll sit down and I'll get my material list for the next project I'm doing, which is like measuring and math and planning and quite a bit of work. It's not just, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not nothing. So instead of sitting down, making a coffee, looking out into the pasture, listening to the birds, watching the cow walk by, being immersed in my environment, enjoying the smell and taste of the Santa Maria that I am inevitably smoking with my break time. I'm thinking about something else, and I'm planning out something else, and I have to be really, really, really like conscious about not doing that, because I find myself doing that. Like, you'll come by and then you'll be like, you're supposed to be taking a break. And I'll be like, I am taking a break. But you're like, no, like, that's not taking a break. But I think it is. I think, like, or when I'm on my tractor and I'm doing, say, like, I'm cutting a pasture, that takes 4 hours or more. I'm listening to either some crazy 4 hour, like I'm listening to an audiobook, or I'm listening to a long form podcast, or where I'm learning something. Like, I've been obsessed with Anunnaki lately, and I've been doing a lot of listening on that. So it's all like, it's all intentional. It's never just like, can I just cut the fucking grass and just like watch the lines?
Your brain waves when you're driving, and similar to like grass cutting, they go, I think it's the theta state, where you're going, it's almost like a trance. So when you get into that trance state and you're also receiving the information, it's like you can hear it more clearly. So there is a reason why you absorb information really well, especially when you're cutting the grass, because you're doing something that is, you are channeling your energy into cutting, and you can see it. You're using your eyes, right? But you're in it like a trance state. And that's also when you can hear new information come through, and you can be in contemplation. So I don't think it's like what you're doing is it is a form of meditation in my mind. Because we don't have to be still to meditate.
In that case, you have to catch up, because I meditate all day long. So don't say that I don't meditate enough, because I'm.
You do. And even the fact, all those descriptions of when you take a break, everything that you just said, all those descriptive aspects of sitting with your coffee, tasting, smelling your Santa Maria, watching Daisy walk by, hearing the birds, those are all moments of mindfulness. You are mindful of what you're absorbing, of where you are. You're immersed in your own in that experience.
Yeah.
Right. You're not off in your busyness of your thoughts. Even when you are focusing on a task and planning something, it's with intention.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of the difference, is that there's something to our intentionality of our energy versus not having any intention and it just going amok.
Right.
Right? Because it's just like certain meditations where you focus, where there's an intentional aspect of your focus on, like, a candle or my breath, right? It's like in yoga, we set an intention throughout the yoga practice to, I'm going to be just very grounded throughout my experience today.
Right.
Or I'm just going to take really good care of myself throughout my practice. When you bring intention in, you are channeling your energy into a certain direction to help you, to grow, to benefit from that, versus just being like, well, whatever happens, happens. So that there is good with that. There is progress with that, because you are, I believe, raising your vibration when you put that healthy intention into something.
Right. Mostly I just remind myself every day to breathe.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part for me.
Your breath is what brings you into this now moment. It's your reminder that you're alive, that you're here, that you're present,
Yeah.
that this is where you are. I mean, many people live in the future or the past, and you hear of, the future is where all your anxiety comes from, and the past is where the depression comes from, right? And I think there's some truth to that, for sure. And regardless, I think there's suffering. There's suffering because you're often focusing on if it's in the negative, which majority of the time it is, you're just creating all of your own suffering.
Yeah.
And in Buddhism, attachment is one of our human experiences that create the suffering because we become attached to certain outcomes. We become attached to living a certain way. We become attached to having certain feelings. And there's also attachment in aversions. So aversions are, I don't want to feel this. So I need to not feel this, right? Or I need to feel this in order to be okay.
Yeah.
And all that attachment, that clinging to something is what creates our suffering.
Right.
So we're creating our own problems rather than the practice of non-attachment, which is letting ourselves just be present with whatever the experience is. And the yin and yang symbol, we want to learn to walk in the center. We want to be able to be present with both sides, but not cling to either side. Because in this human world that we live in, we are going to experience both pain and both happiness and joy.
Yeah.
We're going to have all the discomfort and challenges and sadness and anger. And we're going to have all this beauty and inspiration and excitement and joy.
Yeah.
But we can't have one without the other. And so learning to honor all the spectrum of emotions we can experience, them not being good or bad, they just are what they are, but letting ourselves move through them without clinging.
Yeah.
That's part of how we raise our vibration, is that we let ourselves move through it without clinging.
I was listening to another episode of Sean Ryan, and it had this guy he's a sniper, and he's this black guy, and he was born in Germany, and both of his parents worked for the National Intelligence Agency.
Okay.
And they were doing some stuff, and anyways, so he moves back to the States when he's pretty young, and he's raised, and his dad's super abusive, and his mom's like doing her best kind of thing. He has a pretty rough childhood, don't have a lot of friends, he's not great at a lot of things, just a kind of like average, whatever. And then he really wants to be a Marine, and he doesn't make it because he's colorblind, and he just has some like aversions, and then, blah, 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 luck would have it, he joins, I think he's Army Rangers. Okay. Joins Army Rangers, and, calls home during basic training and wants to quit because it's really hard, and he doesn't think he's going to make it. And so he calls his dad, and he's like, I want to come home. And his dad's like, yeah, well, you can't. You can't come home. You got to stick it out. And it just like this whole, it's a 4-hour podcast. And the first hour and a half is basically about his upbringing. And it's shocking to me that, and Sean Ryan's asking him about how does he feel now about his childhood. And, he's pretty victim-y, actually. It was kind of interesting. He's saying how like it affects him a lot, and he thinks about it a lot. And his sister thinks about it a lot, and how they were abused, like beaten, and, didn't always have like the most loving parents and opportunities. And, but, you find out that he becomes this fucking incredible sniper, and he has like records, and he has all these kills, and, he goes on to become an author of these, like Tom Clancy type books, The Reaper, like they're pretty like crazy books, right? And he hasn't realized yet that, so it kind of turned me off of listening, but I kept going, but it turned me off because he hasn't realized yet that everything that he endured in those years and the father that he was given and the mother that he was given, all of that is what made him who he is
Yeah.
and got him where he is.
Yeah.
Okay? If he had have had the parents that he wanted, which are the fucking pushover bitches that gave him everything that he wanted, and he called home that first day of basic training, which he probably wouldn't have gotten to. He probably wouldn't have even been at basic training.
Mm-hmm.
But if he had have gotten there and he called home and said, I want to come home, I don't like it. And they're like, okay, honey, I'll have a plane ticket waiting at the terminal for you, honey. Like, you wouldn't be where you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like all this energy of like what, you know, what you have to go through and what makes you who you are. And people that find themselves, he's still a fairly young guy, like in his 40s. And here you are, late 40s, and you're sitting there like this author, father, husband, like
Right.
wonderful, like what you've made of yourself. And you're not still understanding that all of that power, that manifestation, that energy, that what you had to go through and build upon is who and why you are who you are.
Wow. That's so interesting.
And he doesn't, and Sean Ryan doesn't correlate it and doesn't say, he just kind of lets them be a victim. And it's just kind of weird. Like, it's just, I find like some of these army guys too are kind of like becoming too fucking pussy about it. Like, yeah, you're allowed to have your emotions and you're allowed to feel, but like you were saying, don't stay in it. Like, you have to walk the line in between. And you can see that, yeah, like I was abused too as a kid. I see it. Like, okay. But then I have to like see the other side of it and know who was on that side and what was the circumstances over there. And then how did I come out from it? And here I am trying to walk that middle line. Like, you can't stay in the victim mentality and woe is me. And you can't be way over here either.
Yeah.
You know, fuck you. I'm going to murder you. You can't be over there, and you can't be over there. You got to be, but anyway.
You got to walk the middle way. The victim mentality is where people lose all of their power. You're giving away all of your power. And in order to take full self-responsibility for your own life, in order to make your own life better, you have to claim back your power by not being a victim to your situation. You can't control your parents. You can't control how you came into this world. You can't control a lot of maybe things that have happened to you, but you can control how you choose to respond to it and how you want to heal and move on. That is how you reclaim back your power, by saying, I've had these experiences, as hard as they may have been, but they are what have propelled me towards my destiny. Right.
It's fascinating that more people don't see that make it out there, like that guy that makes it that far and has such accomplishments, and then can't see that it's exactly, he needed that. That's exactly what he needed to get to be where he was.
So that's the power of our story, right? And that's the power of our perspective. So if our story is in that negative way and is still in that self-deprecating, victimizing narrative, it's going to be, he's always going to give away his power to a situation.
Yeah.
And that was a big lesson for me in my own life is I could blame my parents, I could blame my boss, I can blame my neighbors, I could blame the person driving in front of me for all my hardships. But where does it get me? Nowhere. It gets me into suffering.
Well, I will say, though, that after the high beam flashing and the guy moves over and I can fly by him, there is a degree of satisfaction running through my veins. Okay?
I call Jess Paul Blart, the mall cop, because you were a driving instructor for a long time and a motorcycle instructor, or driving examiner, and motorcycle instructor. And so you act like you own the roads and know how everybody should drive.
Well, I do.
You have no authority.
I'm sorry, but I do. I'm sorry, but I do know. That's what I'm trained in it, and that's what I do know. Exactly the rules of the road and how people should be driving. So when I'm passing people on the right because they're going 100 in the fucking far left passing lane on the 401 going through Toronto, yeah.
You can drive assertively and confidently and not let slow drivers agitate you.
Well, let me tell you, I was agitated.
And everyone could feel that energy in the car. Just like your emotions are energy.
Yep.
Right? It's just like how we can, everybody's got like high vibes or good vibes t-shirts, and it's because we can feel each other's vibration.
Stressed vibes on the 401.
Yeah. We can feel when somebody comes, I can tell when a client comes in and I'm like, ooh, their energy's low. Their light is dim. They're not in a good place. Right? Or they come in, they're vibing high and they're ready for their next level upgrade, like there's, you can feel everybody's vibration, but you only feel it if you're tuned into yours. If you're
That's
not,
fair.
if you're not aware
that's
of your own energy or yourself,
that's
how are you going to
interesting.
pick up anybody else's? And so then how are you going to know what you're
that's
calling
true.
in?
Well, that's true. So that would make sense though, is a lot of people that we call asleep would have no really and a lot of us have been there. Well, we've all been asleep, so we've all been there. But that's when you're just hanging out with whatever and whoever, and you don't really get it, and you're not really seeing the consequences of that. And
But you're not conscious, so you're not questioning things.
Yeah.
You're just going along with what you've been programmed to believe.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, our entire upbringing, especially if you've been raised in the school system, you're programmed. You're programmed to believe and think certain things rather than taught from a young age to learn to use your own discernment, to listen to your gut instincts, to learn your own intuition. Everyone has those gifts. We all have those abilities, but the longer that you stay in the matrix and these programs that block it, the harder it is to kind of peel back the layers in order to find it again. Not impossible because we've been doing it, and I think the COVID era brought a lot of that out for people because it brought among this mass awakening for people to start to become conscious and to start to see through this veil of what's true and what's not.
Yeah, that's true.
David Hawkins, I love his book, Power versus Force. He talks a lot about the difference between our energy, our frequency, and what we're calibrating at, and the difference in those who are awake and those who are asleep. And he doesn't use those terms necessarily, but the difference is when you're awake and conscious, you have the courage to be able to see more truth.
Yeah.
And when you're not, you're in lower states of frequency, which are often, anger, stress, worry, despair, depression, anxiety. And when you're in those low states of frequency, you can't open your perspective up enough in order to be able to see other things.
Yeah.
So part of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is that, we're in summer, and summer is the time when we have our energy is the highest. This is when, we've been planting all of our seeds in the spring for us to blossom and grow. And this is where, we're taking charge of our dreams and setting those goals. This is where a lot of that is coming to fruition. And in order for us to step into that way of being, we have to become conscious that we're going in a certain direction. And, I was thinking this morning about how many people that are in lower frequencies might ask themselves, on a weekend, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Who do I want to see? What can I buy? Right? What can I
eat?
What can I eat? Where can I go to eat? Right? The questions that help me evolve, the questions that I ask myself and what we converse over is, what do I want to learn? What do I feel called to? How do I want to become the better version of myself? How do I want to grow? And in order to ask those self-reflective questions, we have to become, again, aware of ourselves, but then we have to also think bigger. We have to think bigger than what we've been letting our lives be. Because our lives are only as big as we allow them to be, and as big as our lives are as big as we let our mind think. Right?
Yeah.
We can't think rich
Yes.
if we think poor.
Right.
if we have a mind that's stuck in poverty, in scarcity, in lacking, we're not going to be rich. We're not going to be filled with abundance and opportunities and wealth because we're thinking from a poverty mindset.
Yeah.
And that's all energy. Our relationship with money is energy, right?
Yeah.
If you're saying to yourself, money is going out as fast as it comes in, that's your relationship with money.
Right.
It comes out of scarcity and poverty. You're losing.
Yeah.
Right? Versus like, oh my gosh, I have so many opportunities. Look at this. I have so much abundance surrounding me. The sky is blue. The sun is shining. Look at all my plants that are growing. Look at this beautiful meal I had before me. All this wonderful nourishment. Look at all this love around me. Look at all these animals. Right? It comes with the mindset that you are filled with abundance inherently. You are surrounded by it inherently. You're in contemplation.
It's a lot to think about. It's like this isn't like easy political discussions to have. This is a very in-depth and type of conversation that you have to be able to think your way through. You can't just...
Well, and that right there is the perfect example of how to raise your vibration, is that when you're ready to learn something new, your brain changes. You're literally changing the neurons that are firing in your brain, because the neurons that fire wire together. So if you're having the same thoughts about the same thing, you're living the monotonous life of rinse and repeat, your neurons become very like hardwired so that you're always in that default state of repetition. And if you want to change, if you want to grow, you got to learn something new. And you got to take in information that's new so that you can start to create new neurons, new pathways in your brain.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that was no joke after my brain injury, was creating the new pathways.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it rattled you. You had to shed an old identity.
Yep. But if you're willing to, like, one of my brothers had a stroke recently, so he's having a hard time doing basic movements, and his strong suits are art, and well, he's pretty mobile anyway. He's a bit older than me, but he's pretty mobile. And yeah, it's just like you have to just do something different. You can't like just do the same things that you were doing before and expect to be perfect right away and then get better. It's like, try something different, develop a new pathway of like, instead of going down the stairs, like I used to go down the stairs backwards because it made me sick to go down the stairs frontwards.
Yeah.
And I would be like leaning forward and I'd be like, ooh, off balance. So I'd go down the stairs backwards. I did that for months. And then eventually one day I just like didn't do it. Like, I just remember, like, I didn't do that anymore. It's just weird. But eventually that was different.
I think you accepted that you had to do things differently versus, the suffering that comes with trying to keep doing something that's no longer working. I think that's also divine intervention from the universe. When we have those health issues or a health scare or an accident or an injury happens, I think it is divine intervention at play, because it's not something that's happening to you. It's something that's happening for you to evolve and to grow. Just as with my concussion, when the moment I had to accept that, like, okay, I need to be more stillness. How can I learn to tolerate more stillness? What is the lesson that I need to learn? And we had lots of lessons because you had a head injury and then I did. And so we had to learn, again, this is the karmic lesson, is that we had to learn what it was like to be on the other side of the situation of being the caregiver and the one that's hurt. And so, and then learning to rebuild yourself. And that was, wow, what a lesson. What a beautiful lesson we received from that. And it taught us to slow down a lot.
Yeah.
There was something I did want to say around that. Oh yeah, the tuning into each other's frequency. So COVID was a great example of this because when you have conversations with people who weren't open-minded, it was like in one ear, out the other. Like you, and we would have, even now, just conversations with certain people. I can speak about, our lifestyle, or I can speak about different perspectives, and people like just look at you with a blank stare, and it's because they're not on the same frequency. They're not able to hear that message.
I always have such a hard time with that because I instantly know that there's no point of having the conversation, and then how do you stop talking to them without just being like abruptly rude and like walking away? But I have that happen a lot.
Well, it's hard to have. We don't like to have simple, superficial conversations with people because it doesn't. It feels kind of like I'm being drained. It doesn't feel good. Like it doesn't build me up at all. It's not adding to my life. It's literally draining.
And I have to know where we stand right away. Like I have to know like within a minute of my time whether or not it's worth it. So I met this new neighbor, and she said a few words about this, that, and the other, and she mentioned her boys, and she's obviously a light-skinned person. So I said, yeah, but they're white privileged and they're males, so they have it easy.
In a joking way.
No, I said I said it seriously because I wanted to see what her reaction was going to be. I said it with a straight face, and then she her lips curled like the Grinch. And then as soon as her lips curled, then I started laughing, and then I knew right away we were like kindred
She
spirits.
got it. Yeah.
And she got it, and then I could be more open, and then we just started laughing, and then I knew I could say whatever I wanted to say because she gets it, right?
Yeah.
She was awake.
Yeah.
So
she was on your frequency.
But if she had reacted in a liberal manner and been like, well, you're right, they are privileged and they are white, I would have known right away that the conversation would need to end. Wow. And then it would be, well, I got to get back to my torch. I'm burning weeds. I got to burn the weeds. I got company coming.
I think it's actually been really helpful for me in that way too, because I really don't like to have conversations about the weather with people unless we're talking like chemtrails or something.
Yeah, there's no such thing as small talk anymore. Like there is no such thing as small talk. I will not have it. Like we had a family barbecue, and my older brother's wife's mother came, who I've actually never met before. She's Hungarian, and I mean, right away I said something about communism. She said something about Justin Trudeau and Canada, and I said, you know, must be something to come from communism, to flee communism, only to
live it again.
And she was like, oh my God, you're right, it's here, it's coming here.
Yeah.
This is good. And it was really funny. But right away it was like, okay, cool, she's awake. Yeah. I mean, I always figure anybody that's Eastern European is awake, so anybody that fled communism doesn't forget what it looks like.
At the beginning of the pandemic, Jess and I were on the streets protesting very, very early with a small group of people, and they were all European.
They were Russian.
Yeah, because they saw communism because they fled it. So that's interesting. But part of like this whole ascension work and raising our vibration is the ability to see through the political schemes that are at play, the psyops that are at play, and to not let it impact us so deeply emotionally, because that is part of how we lower our vibration, and that is not how we change and grow. So David Hawkins speaks a lot about the calibrations of our energy and how he measures it on a scale of 0 to 1,000, and 1,000 is pure consciousness, God. And our society, prior to the past decade or so, decade and a half, was at an average of 190. And over the past decade, it's risen to 210. And that's when he wrote this book. So,
and what year was the book written?
I'd have to check. But if we consider the Great Awakening in 1995. So back then, okay, and then we have the Great Awakening in the past few years. Our collective consciousness has definitely risen even more, definitely, because people are able to see through the veil and are starting to live more authentic and meaningful lives. They're walking away from monotonous jobs and relationships that are keeping them in that same level and not helping them grow. So in order to raise our consciousness, he says that once you pass the threshold of 200, the level 200, you have developed the courage to open your eyes. And that is part of the difference between somebody who's awake and who's not, is that you can see things more clearly, right? And so you're elevating your emotional states and your average emotional state to higher states of being, more towards love, acceptance, neutrality, that kind of stuff. And so if we are in this 3D matrix, if we're operating in this 3D is like being able to see objects, but we're separating objects as that dual entity. So it's something that's separate from us. And then we're not seeing everything as oneness. 3D is this matrix of ego-based living, right? We are our identity. These are all my labels. This is my job, right? And it's in 3D that we're in these lower states of emotional calibrations. So actually I have 3D consciousness is made up of low, dense vibrational frequencies and operates in duality and separation. People from the 3D look at things from a linear perspective and only understand what they can see and touch as being reality. And 3D operates in linear time, right? So we have clocks, okay? When we transcend into higher states of density, time doesn't exist, which is probably why I struggle so much with time and years and weeks. Like I have
you can't remember shit.
I don't know where time is, like that. I've always struggled with that, but even more so when I've done a lot of my own shadow work, I'm having a harder time wrapping my head around time.
Yeah. Well, they say that there is no time.
Yeah.
There's only now.
There's only now. That's right. And as we go in this collective conscious rising, we're shifting out of 3D into 4D to work towards 5D. And 4D is this transition state where we're stepping into more states of love and more states of compassion. And it's because we're releasing things that don't serve us anymore. We're letting go and we're healing in different ways. So we're not repeating those same karmic patterns or trauma patterns that hold us hostage in suffering. And so our perspective is becoming more open and more vast, so we can look at things from different angles and have more perspective on the situation rather than a very tunnel vision way of viewing things. And this is that transition period where we're starting to call in things of higher vibration into our life. Maybe it's a new job opportunity to present itself, or maybe you've started to do a hobby that has connected you to new people that you're meeting making new friendships. And you're realizing, oh, I actually don't resonate with these older things anymore. I'm not really enjoying these old things that I used to do because I'm actually shifting out of that frequency. And when we decide officially to let the old frequency go, we release that old relationship, that old coping pattern, that old interest or hobby, or I don't know, watching TV at night, and the old habits. And you start stepping into a higher vibrational lifestyle. You start to pull in more of the same energy into your world. And it happens faster and the manifestation comes quicker the more you do that. So like I said, like you're a very fast manifester, very fast. And there's different ways that you can manifest what you want to bring into your life. And I've been doing vision boards for a while, and my last vision board I did when we moved to our farm 3 years ago now. My daughter goes, "Oh, yeah, everything came true." I was like, "Okay, new one." And then now I just have a list I look at. I just have a list, and I just keep adding. I'll cross out, and I'll just keep adding to my list of things, and I'll lay in bed and I'll visualize those things. But I'm actively working towards those things.
Yeah.
An example of this is I wanted a new drum, and it was on my vision board. And when we were driving to go to a funeral recently, I knew I wanted to stop in to the reserve because there was something I was like, oh, I think they have a drum there for me. And I said, oh, there's 2 stores. No, not that one. I'm using my intuition. I need to go to this store. And I went to the wall and I was like, oh, that's the drum. Beat it. Yep. So like the more that we're listening to our intuition and we're following our own
Her intuition led her to be late for her grandmother's funeral because she's called to go to.
First off, everybody was late.
It was terrible weather. The
was,
highway was a mess, but regardless, it's kind of ironic, right? But here's the ironic part, okay? Is that her grandma is like a crazy collector.
Yeah.
So is that something that she would have done?
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Because like she's like,
yeah,
like she was like that. So she'd be called to like, oh, I just have to stop in at this one store because I love it and I'm gonna pass by and I just need to pop in there real quick.
Yeah.
And find one little treasure.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah, did you think about that at all?
No.
I did.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because I thought about like, because I did you notice I wasn't stressed about being late? Like I was just trying to get there for you, but I wasn't stressed about after we stopped because that's exactly what I thought. So I was like, oh, her grandma's like, probably thinking this is pretty funny right now.
Probably. Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, I probably would have done that.
Yeah.
I can't be too mad at you.
It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Okay, so 5D.
Oh.
Because this is where a lot of awakened souls who have been doing a lot of their own shadow work and that are stepping into a more of their own authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
We're heading into a 5D state.
Okay.
State of being. In 5D, consciousness resides in love and neutrality. There is no duality and no good or bad. In 5D, there is no competition, and we know there is enough in the universe for everyone. You feel
competition.
You feel overwhelming emotions of love and compassion for life, Mother Earth, and the stars. In this space, we live free from conditioning and live from oneness with ourselves and others. This is known as self-mastery and will create peace in the world.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, this is, I relate this so much to politics. I relate this so much to a lot of the systems that are in our society and how they're very broken and they don't work. And instead of being in this state of like, we need to fix, or I feel frustrated that this keeps happening, is like, oh, I just don't fit in the system, so I'm going to just leave and build a new one.
Right.
One that has more meaning, one that comes from more love, one that comes from more intention.
I was watching this thing about this girl talk about that in 2022 or 2021, the 2 timelines merged. Did you see that? Can you flip your mic down?
20.
Yeah, because I want you to tell about. Do you remember what she said?
It was talking more about the Mandela effect, the one that I saw.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Mandela effect of.
Okay, so it was like she said, for example, your heart, if you're from the old timeline,
On the left.
your heart was on the left, and medical diagrams, it would show your heart being on the left, and if you're from the new timeline,
It's in the
your
center.
heart's in
It's
the
in the
center.
center.
So okay, well, why are you clapping? What's your deal?
Because
do you
that's
think
your
about that?
chakra. That's your energy center.
Huh.
Your 3D body, your physical 3D body, yes, your heart biologically is on the left, but your energetic heart
Alora,
is
can
in
you
the
look that
center.
up? Look up the heart. Where is your heart? Look up where your heart is. Okay, she also said that if
Kidneys.
you're from the old timeline, your kidneys are in your lower back,
Yeah.
Yep.
behind here,
Yep.
and now they're behind your lungs.
Oh, interesting.
And if you're, those are the two things so far that I can remember.
Did she say why? Why are they?
Well, she said she just said it was the Mandela effect, but I don't remember.
The heart sits slightly behind and to the left of your sternum, which is in the middle of your chest.
Yeah.
See, I don't think that's true. I think it's on the left side.
Yeah.
It's on, right? It's like kind of a little bit of fuckery.
Like all these photos it's in the middle of your sternum.
That's so
Wait, in the-
weird.
Is that the old? The old?
No, that's now.
That's the new timeline.
That's the new timeline, but I would swear that the heart was on the left
Always.
before. Laura, do you think it was on the left?
Yeah. I always remember us. Yeah, it's on the left.
So
Can you check the kidneys now?
Yeah.
So I wonder then if our because our DNA gets upgraded the more that we heal and go through ascension, our DNA changes, and if the Mandela effect is happening, then our physical body is actually starting to change because we are moving through ascension.
We need to talk to a doctor.
Why?
Well, because a doctor would know that 3
Oh.
years ago I was cutting people open and fucking it was on the left side, and now I'm cutting people open. It's more in the center now.
I think that's really interesting. It's like the glitches that we've been seeing over the
Yeah.
past few years. How like
Yeah.
what are some of them? The workout guy, did he have the headband or not?
Oh.
Yeah, Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
And he didn't. In the new timeline, Richard Simmons does not wear a fucking sweatband, a headband. But I swear to God, he did. He did wear a fucking sweatband.
Yeah, I
and
remember that too.
Everybody that dresses up for Richard Simmons for Halloween wears a fucking a sweatband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't wear one
Or there's one
in
of
the pictures.
or there's one of Britney Spears and like this type of microphone in one of her
Yeah.
music videos.
Yeah.
Or the Monopoly guy with
didn't.
with
He
the-
doesn't. He doesn't have an eyepiece.
No, but he
What?
does.
No, he doesn't now.
He does. Correct.
But in the olden days when I was a kid, he
He
fucking
did.
had one.
Yeah.
But now he doesn't have one.
So think of how many of these like butterfly effect situations are. What are they?
Mandela
Mandela
effect.
effects.
The Butterfly Effect was a creepy movie with
I know.
Ashton Kutcher.
I know that like traumatized me.
Me too. I never.
Um,
yeah.
But the Mandela effect. Think of how many are happening, and more and more and more. So it's showing you that our collective consciousness is changing rapidly.
What did it say about the kidneys?
The kidneys are the kidneys are two bean-shaped organs, each about the size of a fist, that are located just below the rib cage, and one on each side of your spine. Doesn't say if it's like
Just below the.
rib cage.
But the rib cage, if you look at the back, it doesn't go very low on the back.
No.
So that to me would mean it's high. Look at a picture. Just go to images.
It doesn't really say. Like it's
But right though, am I right to assume with what you like?
pretty
I know,
high.
I know that your rib cage on your back
Yep.
is not your full back.
Correct.
So
It looks like it's pretty high up there.
So that would mean that your kidneys
It's
are
above your hip
fairly
bones.
high.
They're above your hip bone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, so they're saying that they're even higher now.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the point. Is I think
Yeah.
they used to be like here, like
Yeah.
right
Low
above.
back.
I thought they were lower
right
than
above
that.
your sacrum, I believe. Right.
Yeah.
Right above your sacrum. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's up.
But now it's up higher.
yeah.
So
Anyway.
our physical bodies
I don't
changing.
know.
I don't know. I look.
That's weird. Don't you think that doctors would fucking? Nobody notices this.
I think it's gradual transitions. I think things are gradually changing. Like the appendix we developed, and then
Yeah. Interesting.
so I think that just like everything, things gradually changed on like incremental scale. That we just
That's an interesting point. Is the appendix? I hate to agree with that. But it's kind of that's a weird one. No one knows what it's for. It hasn't been used. Why do we have it? God doesn't make mistakes. The Creator doesn't make mistakes. So,
But our bodies only knows to adapt, right? Mm-hmm. So it's no longer needed, but yet we still produce it. It's kind of interesting.
but we can live without it
But we can live without it.
easily,
Yeah.
which is odd. Because anything else, well, I shouldn't say anything else, but I mean, if you cut out a lung, I think your tonsils. Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's true. Tonsils kind of get
Yeah.
tonsils aren't really needed. Interesting. Yeah, that's true.
So
Weird.
the timelines then are changing. Like our possible timelines. I mean, every day you have a million choices that you can make, and every time you choose one direction, the old timeline of the other option still plays out. So think of all the
Oh, wow.
like
Interesting.
I don't know.
So the timeline of the time the guy called me to hide a gun for him. Fuck, man.
Imagine
that?
going down that
Where's
timeline.
that fucking rabbit hole gonna lead to? Can you imagine? That's fucked.
I'm really glad you didn't do that.
Me too.
Jeez.
Me too.
Yeah.
Can you hide a gun for me? What? A handgun too. No. Damn.
So, Laura and I have Oracle deck coming out soon. We're just in the final editing stages, and it's called Your Highest Timeline. And it's because in order to evolve into your highest timeline, because you could have thousands upon millions of timelines that you could possibly walk in a day. And I always pray in the morning and let me walk my highest timeline. It means that when we choose to walk as high as we possibly can, we're walking from a place of truth, authenticity, courage, right way of being, honoring our moral compass and our intuition. And when we choose to walk lower timelines, it's often because we're dropping into repetitive trauma responses, and we're choosing old coping patterns, or we're choosing our default mode. And when we do that, we stay in that same game level.
Right.
So in order to ascend and raise our vibration, we have to heal those aspects of ourself that still carry wounds, scarcity, fear, hurt, pain, whatever it is that we continue maybe to ruminate on. And in order to evolve and to move into ascension work, we have to learn, we have to grow, we have to heal, we have to expand ourselves in some way and call in new energy into our life.
Yeah.
And to really surround ourselves with people that do have high vibrations. And usually they're the ones that maybe we're intimidated by, or maybe that maybe just inspire us and we want to hang out with them. Right?
Yeah. But you know, your book there, Power versus Force, even just the name, like when you're with people and there's like that magnet where you're being like pushed apart, that's like, pay attention to that. Because there's a lot of people that like fight for those old relationships and to try to keep them. But like when you're together and you feel that, like there's a reason, and that's because you just don't have the same vibe.
Yeah.
It's just it's a vibrational thing.
Well, and power comes from those higher states of being,
Right.
where there is trust and love and compassion, and force comes from those lower states of being, right? Those I need to inflict some sort of control,
Yeah, right.
in order to force a certain outcome. We see that a lot with like politics and stuff like that. You know, those that are in major decision-making seats that force certain ways of being or certain ideologies that keep division.
Right.
One of the things I found interesting about his book, and that what I've noticed within my own life, is that when I watch TV, I can feel like my vibration just tune down just a little bit. My light just turns down just a little bit. And it's because whatever show or movie that we're watching, similar with podcasts and music, it all carries a certain resonance. It all carries frequency. And he shared a documentary by a deep sea diver and his personal story called, what was it called? Like the big blue. And it calibrated at level of 700.
Oh, wow.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, and the manager of the movie theater talked about how people were walking out just in awe and with tears and in silence because of how deeply that impacted them. And when you sit and watch a show where I remember watching some of the TV shows that are out there now that have like reality show of people doing video games that are like I don't remember what it's called, but like different cups and carrying different things and different like.
The fuck is she talking about, bro?
I don't know. You have to ask Abby, but I remember watching this going like, I feel like I'm getting dumb watching this show. I feel like it's not like Jeopardy, you know. Where there's
Carrying cups? Like, are you talking about like people doing like races? Like,
yeah, like there would be like
eggs and-
teams of people and they had to do, or individuals, and they would have to do these different challenges in order to win like $1,000.
Okay.
Okay. But the challenges were like, keep a feather in the air. Like there
Sounds
was
like a Japanese TV show.
I know, but it was in the States, you know?
Exactly what it
But
sounds
like,
like.
I just, like this, is this what we're watching?
It must have been what you guys
Is
were
this
watching,
what-
but I
is
didn't
this
watch
what-
it.
Well, good, because
But
it was bad. It was
I
very
mean,
bad.
I can think of worse things on TV than telling people to keep the feather up in the air and doing egg fucking races on spoons and shit. I can think of a lot of worse things that my kid could be watching than that.
True,
so
true.
I don't think that was a very good example.
Okay, well,
But and we had 5 minutes of podcast on egg race games and
I do like egg race games, but anyways.
yeah, like you want to play egg race games every weekend.
Yeah.
Want to do an egg
I don't want to
race?
watch other people
Want to do
on
a sack race?
Yeah.
Want to do a wheelbarrow race? Like who says that? It's not 1812.
Look, I grew up going to, we call them Japanese picnics, and all families would come and we do big games and potlucks.
They must
and
have
it was
had
a
to
lot
play,
of fun.
They must have had to be playing wartime games from when they were in the internment camps and they didn't have any money. Because all of the games that they played are like, we don't have any money games. Like literally. How can we make it fun? We ain't got no money, but we got an egg from the chickens.
That sounds like my Japanese ancestors, 100%. Yeah.
How do we make it fun? Huh? How can we make it this fun? Yeah. Ich, ni, san, chi, go.
The reason why I brought this up. Okay, the big blue calibrates at 700.
Yeah.
Okay. When you watch TV, watching TV weakens the body, which suppresses the immune system. Damages the brain's delicate neural hormonal and neurotransmitter systems. Its negative input from TV brought the watcher closer to eventual sickness into depression. This is from David Hawkins.
I mean, that's interesting because, you know, when you're sick and all you do is lay and watch TV, you don't feel much better. But if like we do a lot, if you can pull yourself out of it and go outside and get a blanket, lay in the sun,
Yeah.
and you lay there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you get up, you feel like
Feel
$1 million
so
bucks.
much better.
But if you laid on the couch for 3 hours and then get up, you don't feel
Yeah.
usually any better. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh, God, I rested a little bit, but you don't really feel very good.
I mean, hospitals used to bring out their patients onto the roof to be in the sun.
Yeah.
And after the war, a lot of vets that were very ill with all kinds of respiratory illnesses,
Yeah.
they were up in Algonquin Park, out breathing the biodiversity, the microbiome.
What?
You gotta do a Japanese. That's just funny. I had some other interesting points.
Get down. We do wheelbarrow parade. Go. Ich, ni, san, chi. Go.
Okay.
Don't fuck it up.
Okay, so David Hawkins also spoke that in an energy field of 600 or higher, almost anything has a tendency to heal. So what I'm seeing a lot of people saying now is that traditional talk therapy isn't working, or it only works to a certain point for a lot of people. And it's because it continues to play out the same story. And a lot of,
Interesting.
and so you just constantly repeating the same story or trying to heal from it. And
Yeah. See, what were we talking about? Like, who was I talking about that with? Wasn't it? Yeah. I think we were talking about how there was this Abigail Schreier. Can you look it up? Abigail Schreier. She wrote a book on. Laura's going to tell us what it's on, but it's about too much therapy. Like how, especially kids. Like if you look, if something happens to a kid and they're in a traumatizing situation or they've been abused, yes, they need to know that what happened was wrong. It wasn't their fault. But then they need to learn how to move on and how to not be that thing that happened to them. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is that they end up going to therapy once or twice a week for years. And we're just talking about the same thing that happened to them over and over and over again. This is why kids are trans. This is why kids are so confused. It's true because they go into therapy and they have, unfortunately, the therapists are compromised now and the therapists affirm. So then all they do is every week they go back and they talk about their affirmation, and is that right? Affirming, and they talk about the issues and they talk about why they want to be a boy or why they want to be a girl, and it just snowballs.
it feeds that story of
Absolutely. But if they just talked about it for a brief moment and got it out and got the help that they needed and then the tools to move forward. Okay.
Right.
So what's it called?
I think she has a couple books. Why the kids aren't growing up. That's one of them. I mean, like how bad therapy can harm a generation.
Is that the newest one? Because I don't know if that's but that might be the one. But anyways, that's who wrote the.
She has a couple books.
Yeah.
Like it's bad. Why the kids aren't growing up. I think
that's
her
actually
newest.
the newest one. I think that's the one that she.
There's irreversible damage. The transgender craze
read that
seducing
too.
our daughters.
Yeah, I've read that too.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. But that's basically what she's saying. Is she's saying that kids are having too much therapy. They're not learning to move forward. They're staying in the victim of being the victim instead of the survivor, and how to turn over a new leaf and become a new them and move on.
right.
And it's the same with adults, is that they're living in these boo-hoo me, I'm a victim, I'm my disease, I'm my rape, I'm my divorce, I'm my depression, I'm my whatever. And versus like talk therapy that's teaching them
To change their story.
to change their story,
Yeah.
to do new pathways,
Yeah.
new neural pathways.
Yeah. So interesting. He talks about depression. And he says that there is no antidepressant that will cure a depression that is spiritually based, because some malaise does not originate from the brain dysfunction, but from an accurate response to the desecration of life. The body is a reflection of the spirit and its physical expression, and its problems are dramatizations of the struggles of the spirit that gives it life. So, and this is what I see all the time, is that when people are in a depressed state, it's because they're moving further away from their spirit, and spirit is what gives us life.
Right.
And so you're living a life that is meaningless, and purposeless, and lacking of love. And so in order to change our states of frequency, which our emotions are frequency, we have to change certain aspects of our lifestyle to help us grow, to make a life that is more meaningful. You know, a lot of people that are in a job that they don't like, and you're giving your energy to that 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, however many hours that is a year, upon 10 years, 20 years. Think of how much life is being drained out of you. Versus your destiny, like why you came here, is always in this aching part of your in your conscious mind that's saying like, oh, I want to do this. I wish I could do that. Right. And people get further and further and further away as the more that they live a life that is in the 3D programs, and further away from what their destiny has been calling them to do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's a spiritual, like a spiritual death in a way. Like we're slowly a slow spiritual death.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I had a lot more around raising our frequency. Maybe we can go into it at another time. But I know that with what we're seeing with a lot of people is that we are going through the ascension process, and there is a lot of spiritual growth taking place. And just the fact that our collective consciousness is rising, and one person who has a higher calibration helps others rise up too, right? Mm-hmm. Just like when, an unhealed person projects all of their unhealed wounds onto others, a healed person can project that healing vibration as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that we are going into this new earth that we're creating with all these beautiful higher emotional frequencies. And it's like that quote I read recently that we're leaving the age of materialism and stepping into the age of vibration. And I see that. I know that that's what we are in, and we're in that transition place right now.
Yeah, I feel that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I do feel that. People are not everybody is as drawn to. People are really moving away from keeping up with the Joneses. Really,
yeah.
Like, really, they really are. There's still a lot of people that are, like, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot more people now that are less focused and worried about the have and the have-nots than just thinking that having a little is enough.
Yeah.
Having a little is enough, not needing to have copious amounts of just stuff. Even just the minimalist kind of movement, even though they're, I always think everything has a communist background to it, like a foreshadowing or something. But even just the minimalist, kind of movement of less is more, not having as much stuff, not the need to not have 17 hoodies and 27 pairs of Nikes and 16 guitars and 4 cars and 6 motorcycles and 6 mountain bikes. And why? Why?
It's all ego, right? That's the ego driving your life. And now we're moving into a state of how can my vibration elevate so that I'm becoming more one with all things.
You're hearing from more people than ever is, I want less house, more land. Never before people would say, I don't fucking want, what do I want land for? What do I want grass to have to just cut it? I just want a big house and a yard big enough to have my pool and gazebo. So everybody else can look in on me. But you're hearing more people just, I would rather trade that in for a small house and land. Because I hear that every time somebody comes to our farm, I hear that.
Well, because we're shifting more into nature, because we're remembering that we are nature ourselves. And so people are feeling more called to leave the cities.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yep.
Anyways, I hope this was a helpful conversation around how to raise your own vibration, and thanks for tuning in.